I like the way they put the headquarters of the Ministry of Defense behind me. Now, the process of the recruit process, terrible as it is, as it has always been, this time the negatives got to a crescendo, and everybody was complaining about deaths, because when people die, I mean, all the time they were doing these things at the El-Wak Stadium, the fear was always that these things can cause a stampede one day. I mean, from 2014, 2011, whenever we started seeing people at the El-Wak Stadium, those of us who live in Accra, you saw people at the El-Wak Stadium in central Accra, near the cantonment area. You always suggest to yourself that, look, this thing it can get very bad. And eventually it happened. Our greatest fears came to pass when we heard that 5 young women, were they 6 or 5? 6 young women, and all of them women. All of them women. That was the saddest part of it, that 6 young women have died on this matter. Now, we hear that the government is beginning tomorrow to do the process again. And there's a few words of caution that I believe that the government itself has taken. I saw a video by Siddiq Adams. They call him Sports Obama. He speaks on Angel FM. These days, because of him, I've added Angel FM to my morning show review. So I start from Peace and I go all the way, and I listen to Siddiq Adams as well. This is what he was saying. Have a look at it.
Fira, the root cause of the AC was honey sikasem. Men are make a trail say, Omo soja for yen. But root cause of numbers no more apply now. Sika. Because combining the past 60,000, which is not the accurate number. 200 cities times 60,000, yeah, 12 million Ghana cities, 120 billion old cities. Their improvement in a week. Ura Henry Court Tebekana last year say Nipa more apply for security service in 1 year. 90,000. No more here 3,000. Less than 14%. Enti ya dear way and then 1961 daily graphic. Omo peso ja 4. Akatua de be mom wom. E dan on beda wom. Yes, ye de ombetu kwan. Yes, Ghana for so me join soja 1961 Ghana. And na ye ton forms. Na NBA for ya je omusika na ya famu 3%. Enti se de ye ni nyina no ye jai sika de na. Omani beba ho se omo apply nyina no obi antu eska. Now within 1 week, more close no. And no na ye suggest ya anya adwuma omuguso ama manfo delay in 2025 say stadium efa nipa 10,000. Stadium efa nipa 10,000. Modi nipa 20,000 aba ho say omomeye exercise. Eda so ade abagina omo so hey idiot hey enemrem soja.
I'm going to say something that's at once controversial and also very sad. And I'm happy with the beautiful building of the Ministry of Defense. Now, this was constructed by the John Kufuor administration. The Minister Kwame Ado-Kufuor must take credit for it. He was the minister in charge when this was constructed. It was opened in 2009 during the Professor Mills era, but fully constructed. It almost looks like the American Pentagon, but it's much smaller, of course. Now, this is what depicts the image of the Ghana Armed Forces, the Ministry of Defense. This is fantastic. It is important for the Ghana Armed Forces to ensure in these modern days that everything that represents the armed forces must lift up the image to look like this. I hope I'm making some sense. So if the armed forces are marching on Independence Day or whenever, the quality of the drill must match the beauty and the elegance of the Ministry of Defense. If the armed forces are on a saving mission, there's floods and they've gone in to save people, the quality of their work, the coordination thereof, if they are doing NIMOS, everything the armed forces does must reflect that authority, that distinction, that elegance that we see with the American armed forces and many armed forces even in Africa, in Egypt, South Africa. Armed forces work with precision, quality, elegance. And the message that the armed forces always communicate to the general public is that of excellence, dignity, elegance. That must reflect in everything. Surely, that does not reflect in the way we recruit our people. This is 2025. And that's why I like Siddiq Adams. Look at this photograph. Put this photograph up, let them see it. If we are recruiting, and the armed forces themselves, the military police people standing there, are they happy about this? If we are recruiting people in the armed forces, should we treat them like they are criminals? They should come and sit on the floor. I mean, why do we do that? Yes, it's been happening all the time, but this is President Mahama, who is the one who can do the reset. I don't know whether in the revised things that they've said for tomorrow's practice, Even the tone of the language that came from the DPR, that those who don't comply, they'll be sacked. There's fights going on between Dr. Kwesienin and Oliver Vermaho and the armed forces over the suggestion that those who died, their relatives, will automatically be taken. That's a cover-up. With the greatest of respect to Buja Jemfi, that is a cover-up. People died out of dereliction of duty, out of negligence, out of incompetence of planning. Then you don't address that. Nobody resigns. Nobody is sacked. Then they come and tell us that we'll take their relatives. Are we really serious? That's what Dr. Eni said on Joy FM. Are we really serious in this country? Somebody must take the responsibility. Then they cover up. Because we are poor people, they are always giving us something. That's what Senor Jose was saying about Galamsey, that our brains are small, small-minded, small. You can give them money. Every time, give them money. The dereliction of duty, the negligence that occasioned the murder of 5 young women, nobody wants to talk about it. 6 young women. Nobody wants to talk about it. We are not talking about how they died, why they died, what happened, what should they have died. Human beings, look, go to America. One person dies in America. You see the whole American armed forces coming. The whole American authority is marshaled. 6 young women have died. Nothing about who caused it. Nothing about any punishment for anybody. The Minister for Defense comes to say that the solution is that the people who died, their relatives should come and join the army so that they should also come to El-Wak at 2 a.m. But they should make sure that they are in the queue and they should make sure that they sit on the floor. Look at this. Why is it that when we are recruiting soldiers, the armed forces is the dignity of any society? Any modern society, the armed forces is the dignity of the modern society. Why do we do this? When we are recruiting lawyers, do we tell them to come and sit on the floor like that? Look at lawyers being recruited. I like the way you put the photograph together. Please, put it on the screen. Let them see it. Now, viewers, look on the left side of the screen. The right side of your screen. On the right side of your screen, they are recruiting lawyers. New lawyers that are going to start law school. Look at the way they present them. On the left side of your screen, they are recruiting soldiers. Look at the way they present them. What kind of society are we? And the armed forces themselves, are you happy with this? The Ghana Bar Association and the General Legal Council will never sit down and say that lawyers that are being recruited should on the floor. Because the lawyers came from Abuja, or where did they come from? We have to show the dignity of work. It doesn't matter whether it is lawyer, whether it is doctor, whether it's a carpenter, it's a police officer, it's a soldier. That is the mark of a modern society, and we better get there quickly. We are too late. Let us hurry up and get there. Tomorrow, they shouldn't let the soldiers sit on the floor like this. It is wrong. Very, very wrong. It's inhuman. You can't do that. And then you are making the people feel so bad so that when they come and they are soldiers, they are angry and they are meting it out to people. They will mete it out to all kinds of people. They will be violent because this is what you're asking them to do. They want to be soldier. Some of those people sitting down, they are holding an SSC certificate that is capable of going to study anything at the university. But for all you know, they don't have 1,300 cedis to pay the university forms. They don't have it. They don't have 800 cedis. They don't have it. 2,000 cedis. They don't have it. 1,600. They don't have it. So Enoabna, whose child, who has a 6th child, who has gone to TI Ahmadiyya Secondary School, he got 8 A's in TI Ahmadiyya Secondary School. He wants to go to KNUST to study engineering. And no man says, where am I going to take the money from? Every day I earn 30 cedis. And that's what I used to feed you people. Your father died 100 years ago, sometime years ago. And so the young man who is holding a certificate that says 8 A's, he cannot go to KNUST. Nobody will help him. He sees the advert. He goes to an uncle, borrows 200 cedis, buys the forms. He wants to be soldier. They put him on the floor like this. Like this, on the floor. You should sit down. Sit down. And they shout on them. Hurry up. They will kill you. Sit down. What is that? Is that how America recruits its army? Is that how UK recruits its army? Don't we have the same democracy that they have? Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why? This must stop. This thing must stop. The way we recruit soldiers. When you are recruiting lawyers there, they should wear something in their neck and come and sit down and sing, "Abide with me, abide with me." They should do that. But when you are recruiting soldiers, you kick them. Sit down on the floor. Hurry up. You see what we'll do to you. Hey. I dare say that the soldiers are more important than the lawyers. The military is more important than the lawyers, because the day the thing becomes keke, it is the military who will go and sustain it so that the lawyers have peace of mind to practice the law. For the lawyers to have the peace of mind, for the parliamentarians to have the peace of mind to go to parliament, it is the establishment of the security service. They establish that everything is peaceful. And when you are recruiting them, you treat them like this. They should sit on the floor like we've been doing that. Sir. Every president has been doing it. Is it not time for us to change? And the next thing, as last thing I say, we will not let that dereliction of duty go unpunished. Whoever's responsibility it was, I heard Captain Smart talking about some lieutenant colonel who didn't come to work early, blah, blah, blah. Whoever's responsibility it was that those people died, that person must be punished. We can't cover up. Broja Jemfi is trying to cover up that, oh, don't worry, they died, but we'll recruit them into the army. You think the army was their first choice, the ladies who died? You think the army was their first choice? Maybe it wasn't. They are not getting anything to do. So they decide to go to military. Maybe it's not their first choice. You are imposing their third choice on the family that they should stay at third choice because somebody has died. Whoever was responsible for the death ought to be named and shamed and punished. That's how a modern society behaves. They are signaling me that my time is running. I don't want to say more.